then the next thing I want you to do is telling me about why you became a Bronze Plus, and talk about all the benefits, and then the conference, and then, you know, how you're going to use it to market yourself and Purple Squirrel, and, you know, but I'm the uninitiated. Go ahead. I'll plod you along as we go.
Okay, tell me where to start here.
Well, your name,
Okay.
Industry experience, P&L, titles.
Okay. My name is Ripp from Houston, Texas. I am the founder of Zurich Industries, founded in 2002. The LLC still exists today. The business model is, we started out as the fire department, being brought into distressed businesses, but eventually evolved into working with taking normal businesses which may have marketing challenges, financial challenges, operating challenges, and eventually the firm grew to $20+ million run rate, operating on 6 continents, 70 countries over the last 16 years. My interest in Blackmore Partners comes from the fact that I'm looking to migrate from being that kind of global guy to being really focused on working on a deal thesis which involves machining, which is my expertise, and not just having one machine shop, but really to put together a platform which includes ancillary businesses, including phosphate, hardening, anodizing, chromating, and just to be able to provide that along with assembly and packaging, and provide a full service provider of machined subcomponents delivered to a customer. My interest in Blackmore is I see it as an opportunity to take my interest and my skill set and work with Blackmore to find places in the market where I can secure equity, different than debt, because I'm comfortable with securing debt through the bank relationships that I have, but I'm also looking to find a private equity, perhaps an investment today that's in the same industry in which I'm operating, and see me as an extension, or myself to present a thesis to them which they can take and perhaps influence a subsequent acquisition down the road that becomes, you know, bolted onto the deal that I bring to them. So I'm looking to work this both ways.
What is, simply said, what is a thesis for the uninitiated?
My thesis.
Well, no, not what is your thesis. What is one? What is one? I don't know what a thesis is. What's a deal thesis?
A deal thesis, to me, is simply putting together an industry focus, a target acquisition, ancillary support businesses, understanding the markets into which that business stroke industry serves, and understanding where that market is going.
Got it.
And also taking a look at the competitive landscape, and not only taking just a domestic view, but also taking an international view. I believe in creating value. I personally don't understand the concept of being number 2 in anything. If I'm not the market leader, I'm not doing my job.
Got it. So how, given, what does Blackmore Connects provide to executive that it makes it worth paying versus just trying to do all this yourself? What do they bring to the table?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been listening to your webinars, and it's kind of been the needle in my arm because it's helped me understand more about private equity, although I've run several private equity portcos over the last 20 years. But it's also provided me the confidence that I can have a partner that does this all day, every day, and has a broader network than I do, and has the ability to, you know, to do a mass distribution, perhaps has the ability to set up telephone interviews, and has the ability to perhaps propagate one-on-one conversations, which is something that I've already had up 3 of them out of this conference already today. So to me, it's all working.
It's all working.
It's all working.
How do you justify the value, though? I mean, most execs go, why am I going to pay for anything? I don't need to do that. Tell me, how do you justify the value? What metrics are you using internally in your brain?
Well, it's time, value, and money. What is the breadth of my network? What is it, you know, that I feel comfortable investing personally, and how do I take a look at an investment in total of my personal investment, debt, and equity? I can do all those things, but the runway is pretty long. I see this as is really part of the investment thesis for myself. That if I were to put this all together and a deal was done tomorrow, my CPA would have my investment in Blackmore Partners is part of my investment, the T&E mix in terms of what it costs to buy into a business.
Got it. Well said. But not only what it costs to buy in a business, what are some other benefits you learned from the panels that could possibly come about for you?
Well, I've got a chance to measure the temperament of not only the individuals, but perhaps the temperament of the private equity firms, because not all private equity firms are created equal, and we absolutely saw that here today. Secondly, it was interesting to me to see the breadth of approach from let's do one deal to let's do 8 deals together and create a platform, and actually some points in between, since I have in conversations found points between 1 and 8 that folks have talked about. So it's for my deal thesis, it helped underscore that perhaps I'm on the right road, and that there are firms that do want to talk to me for either doing one and eventually a second, third, and fourth ancillary business to go to the core platform. And there's another one firm that wants to talk to me about doing literally a roll-up and put together a platform business, which eventually I can make into a cookie cutter and take into different geographies that have an ancillary support operations.
Great. How would you rate Blackmore and the conferences and its overall services?
This is the 4th such type conference, first for Blackmore, but the 4th for me. And what I've garnered out of this so far, I'd have to put this at a 9+. I don't do 10s.
So you've been to other conferences, like you said you've been to similar conferences?
10 months ago I was with Harvey and Company.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, and similar format, a little bit. We had an hour with each of these guys, but at the end of the day, it was we had 3 days of speed dating, not 4 hours of speed dating, and it was kind of drawn out. And we had very much like yourself, had a nice breakfast, nice lunch, and then we would go someplace for dinner. So the host sponsored the food and the booze. We took care of our lodging, but at the end of the day, it was an eclectic, as this is an eclectic collection of PE firms that all had an interest, as these guys have an interest, in A, looking at potential deals, and then B, taking a look at a potential execs to either have on a council, to have as somebody sitting in the dugout that they can call up and say, I'd like to drop you into this scenario. C, to be an investor, and D, to be somebody who could just take their own deal and drive it.
Great. Stephen, thanks for being here. Looking forward to getting a deal